the two together.
It is, and I'm not sure that that's the long-term solution, to have a share the lane program as opposed to what we now have in the Longfellow Bridge,
Yeah.
which is a dedicated bicycle lane. It's not very wide, so we're hoping that we can, in the final configuration of the Longfellow Bridge, create a little more breathing room for the cyclists and get, of course, wider sidewalks. So I'm not as big a fan of the sharing.
Oh, I'm
of
not
the
sure
lane.
it's a solution, but it's
better.
It's better, and it creates awareness that before then didn't exist. And I bicycle everywhere, and normally when you travel in the middle of a car lane, people honk at you, and at least they know you allowed to be there. So that it's a one step forward.
Right, yes, it's one step forward. I'm just hoping that the long-term solution on all of the Charles River Bridge crossings is that we have dedicated bike lanes and sidewalks that are sufficiently wide,
Yeah.
that the pedestrians can pass one another comfortably. You know, I was out on Sunday, as I mentioned, and for my walk around the river basin and across the Longfellow Bridge, and those sidewalks are much too narrow. It's very uncomfortable. And at one point on both sides of the bridge, the sidewalk just ends.
And I mean, imagine you have a baby carriage, not to speak of a wheelchair. And in some instances, it's less than a foot wide between the curb and the lamppost.
Right, so the pedestrians have to step out into the travel lanes for vehicles. Obviously, it's a very unsafe condition, which I've been talking to DCR for a long time about, and with the Department of Transportation. And I know the Department of Transportation is going to address this problem on the Longfellow Bridge. They're very aware of the problem. I've made that once they got custody of the bridge back in November, Mass DOT is now very well aware of the challenges on the Longfellow, and they're going to address it. So good for them after all these years of DC are not addressing the pedestrian problems on the Longfellow.
And while the Conservancy is an advocate and you helping, there are of course other groups like Livable Streets, Walk Boston, Mass Bike, who are all very active in that. So and the Conservation Law Foundation and the Institute for Human-Centered Design. So this is a strong coalition, and I think Mass DOT is really listening.
They definitely are, and we're making progress with them. And so I think of, I represent the people who live in my districts, but I feel like I also represent the bridges, and that I have to take some responsibility for them throughout the whole river basin, because my constituents use them so regularly. They're obviously vitally important to the parkland, vitally important to our local economy. And so as we're thinking about these bridges, we also have to think about the order in which we do the construction so that we maintain the connections between Boston and Cambridge, because that's vital for people's commuting patterns, vital to the local economy of Cambridge, certainly with Kendall Square right there in Central Square. So there's a lot that goes into the reconstruction of these bridges. It's not just about the vehicles, the pedestrians, and the cyclists. It's also the phasing of the construction to make sure we get it right and don't make life so miserable for the people who have these bridges in their neighborhood and want to get home at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, one thing that still needs addressing and more thinking has to go into that is of how the bridges connect to the parklands. I mean, there's one thing to go over the bridge, to go from Cambridge to Boston, but if you want to go from the bridge to the parklands, at some places like the Longfellow Bridge, it's actually very hard to get into the parklands.
It's very hard, and that's something that we really need to look at with the Longfellow Bridge project, is how do we make it easier to get from the bridge crossing to the parkland? No easy answers, but it's something that, again, we're going to have to work at, because it's all well and good to be standing on the bridge looking out over the parkland. How do you get there? We have to make it very easy for the pedestrians in particular to get from the bridge down into the parkland, because that's where a lot of the pedestrians want to go. Some of them are using the Longfellow Bridge, for example, to commute between Kendall Square and Boston, or Boston to Kendall Square. But for someone like me who's out on the bridge on the weekends, I'm trying to get from one parkland to the other and using the bridge to cross the river. So we've got to make that an easier connection and an accessible connection. So, for example, on the Longfellow Bridge, there's a set of stairs at the Cambridge side leading down into the parkland, non-handicap accessible. And so we've got to look at how do we make those connections not only easier but fully accessible for those who can't do stairs comfortably or can't do them at all.
Yeah, and I actually was bicycling over the Longfellow Bridge today, and yes, there is a bicycle lane, but there was so much sand and debris left there from the winter that I really traveled in the travel lane, because the bicycle path there was too much sand and too much debris. So maintenance is also an important part of making it safe for bicyclists.
Well, that's right. So the good news is we did a good job over the winter keeping the bridge safe for the drivers and the cyclists. The bad news is we now have the remnants of all of that.
That's
It's going
right.
to take a lot of cleaning. You know, Cambridge has got a lot of that throughout the city on the streets, as does any city in the Commonwealth. So we're just going to have to do a good job of cleaning up the streets after a long winter.
Yeah, yeah. So let's go upriver a little bit. The next bridge that is now also under construction is the BU Bridge.
Right. And so that's another bridge that I've spent a lot of time on with the pedestrian and cyclist issues, because the pedestrian and bicycle connections on the BU Bridge are very difficult. There's a large number of cyclists who cross the BU Bridge on a daily basis. Many people who live in Cambridge use that to commute by bike over into Boston. So I have many Cambridge constituents who bike across the BU Bridge, and I've spent a lot of time working with then DCR, now Mass DOT, to try to keep it safe for cyclists. But it isn't always. Sometimes the cyclists come up onto the sidewalk and say
So
the
you're
traffic
talking
is too
about
dangerous.
During construction, but then there's the construction phase, but then there's the permanent design.
Right. So the permanent design will include the bike lanes over on the bridge crossing, and will include the new sidewalks. All of which is great news. It's during construction that it's very difficult for the cyclists, and so when I was crossing the BU Bridge last night by foot on the sidewalk. There were several bikes on the sidewalk with me. That became very crowded because they were coming at full speed right down the sidewalk, because they didn't feel comfortable in the vehicle lanes because they're very narrow, a lot of trucks and buses, and they just were clearly not feeling safe. So they were up on the sidewalk with the pedestrians, which made the pedestrians feel unsafe because there's bikes coming at them at full speed.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult time on the BU Bridge right now. I think the long-term solution's very positive, that we're going to have dedicated bike lanes, and so the cyclists can ride safely right across that bridge.
And they're going to count the pedestrians and the bicyclists again in April, because it's not something you can easily do in the winter. But it looks already on Commonwealth Avenue, where they added a bike lane, that the bicycle traffic has greatly increased. So it's kind of like the baseball field. If you build it, they will come. And I think if there are better bike facilities, more people will bicycle. And I have definitely seen an increase in bicycling use just the last year or two.
And I have noticed that as well. I live on Commonwealth Avenue in the Back Bay, and while we don't have the bike lanes in the Back Bay yet, they're farther west on Commonwealth Avenue out by BU. So since more and more people are feeling that area is safe, they're cycling, and now they're coming all the way into the Back Bay, heading into downtown. So I have noticed as well a very significant increase in the number of cyclists on Commonwealth Avenue, which I think is terrific, and look forward to getting the bike lanes all the way through the Back Bay so that we create a safe haven for the cyclists all the way into downtown. Cambridge is much farther ahead of Boston on this. So Cambridge has done a terrific job of putting bike lanes in, and we need to see more of them certainly throughout the metropolitan area. But Boston has some catching up to do to Cambridge.
Yeah. But I think the mayor in Boston is catching on, but
Yes.
Cambridge needs to be praised for the bicycle planning. There are even some bicycle lights. I mean, there are some examples where they just think of the route where the bicycles go, and the lights they need to provide for that.
Yeah, Cambridge has been a real role model, and good for Cambridge. And now everyone else is trying to play catch up.
Yeah, and we hope that maybe even the program where you can rent a bike for 5 minutes or 15 minutes or 5 hours might also come to Cambridge. So that is would be very,
essentially Zipcar for bicycles.
that's right. Yeah, or just kind of like they have it like it in Europe. So let's go up the river even further after let's stay one more time about the BU Bridge. No underpass is planned on the Cambridge side there, so that might be something that we hope that Mass DOT will look at and to
Just
add
to be clear, when you mean underpass, you mean so that the pedestrians can stay at the water's edge, essentially walk underneath the bridge rather than having to go up and over and cross at grade.
Yeah, it wouldn't be really on the water's edge because the parklands are quite wide there, but you wouldn't have to cross the traffic. You can go underneath the traffic. It would be in the embankment. It wouldn't be on the water's edge like it is on the Boston side.
Okay.
Because then you would have to go all the way down, but it would be an underpass under the embankment.
Yeah, so you don't have to go up and cross through traffic, which I think is a terrific idea if it can be done. Just as we learned last night from the State Department of Transportation, they're going to do a feasibility study of doing that kind of underpass at the River Street and Western Ave Bridge, so that we can look at, how much time would it take to build those kinds of underpasses,